on to our next session, titled Silicon Valley to the Island. Can Singapore create the next Apple, the next Google, the next Tesla? And for this session, it is my pleasure to invite on stage Mr. Lim Chuan Poh, Steve Leonard, and IIMPACT Singh. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we will follow a similar format as the last session. Our esteemed speakers will address all of you and share their views for about 5 to 7 minutes. After that, we will have a panel discussion amongst them, as well as take questions from the floor. So without further ado, I would first like to invite Mr. Lim Chuan Poh to address us. You can sit down, sir, if you like, or you can go to the podium as you like. Mr. Lim Chuan Poh, Chairman A*STAR, the Agency for Science, Technology and Research, the 4th Chief of Defense Force of the Singapore Armed Forces, and an alum of Cambridge, Cornell, and Harvard. Mr. Lim believes that Asia is the place to be right now for research and innovation. Let us hear why. A very warm welcome to Mr. Lim.
So thank you for the introduction, and thank you for inviting me to this very august event. And I really thank all of you for hosting the event in Singapore, giving us this chance to engage with all of you. So just a quick word about A*STAR before I give my remarks. The Agency for Science, Technology and Research is a publicly funded research agency. Just a quick analogy, it is a little bit like the Council for Science, Industry and Research in India, only a little bit, because CSIR is huge. We have to be appropriately reduced to the size of a 5 million population. We are funded through the Ministry of Trade Industry, so we have economic mission, and we precisely operate in the space between academia and industry research. As a result, we do a lot of collaboration with both the private sector and, of course, with the public sector. Right now, we have over 5,300 staff. Over 80% are research scientists and engineers. And it is actually a very international organization because 40% of those are represented by 60 different countries. It is probably the most international organization within the public sector. I have 5 main business units. Biomedical Research Council, by its name, it does biomedical sciences research. I have a Science and Engineering Research Council. It does everything from manufacturing to microelectronics research. A few years ago, we created a joint council office precisely to catalyze new knowledge creation and innovation. There are lots of opportunity in that space. As a mission-oriented organization, we have our own commercialization outfit, the ETPL, and they manage the intellectual property for the agency, as well as supporting the startups and also spin-offs coming out from the agency itself. As an organization operating the space between academia and industry, we are unique in that we also have our own graduate academy, essentially providing opportunities for both locals and internationals to pursue research. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the mission of A*STAR effectively is to conduct world-class research and develop innovative technologies in partnership with both the public and private sector to create growth and enhance the lives of the people in Singapore. Very clear-cut, economic-driven mission. So the question of this session is, can Singapore create the next Apple, Google, or Tesla? Obviously, the question is not about replicating. It's really, can Singapore create the next big thing? I think my answer to that must be, yes, we can do it. Of course, a large part of the answer comes from the fact that we must have hope, we must have dream, we must have aspiration. I think Prime Minister Lee, during the National Day rally, essentially said the same thing. This is really where Singapore wants to be. So we need the hope, the dream, and the aspiration. But of course, we have to go beyond hope. And I just want to touch on 3 reasons why I actually believe that Singapore can do it. Talent, ecosystem, and support, especially public sector support. These are the 3 critical reasons. I'm going to use the example from the agency itself to illustrate the 3 reasons. First, on talent. The A*STAR strategy for talent is open talent strategy. We believe in building a robust core of Singaporean scientists, but this is to be complemented by a rich diversity of world-class international. When you have robustness and richness, you have a very lively research landscape. And precisely because of that, we created scholarships to enable Singaporeans to pursue the best research training in the best universities overseas. At the same time, we give out awards to attract the best internationals to come to Singapore to do research. And here, we're very focused. We already attract a lot of Asian students, so we actually went beyond Asia to attract the international students. Last year, we celebrated the arrival of our first student from Colombia. And he came to Singapore because he did his master's in the US, Purdue University, did very well, asked his supervisor, where should I go now that I'm interested in research? The supervisor told him, pick a top university, top lab in the US, just get a scholarship, a fellowship, and then you are set. So he asked the supervisor, is there a plan B? And the supervisor, half in jest, said, just go as far as you can. He went home to Colombia, he took out his globe from primary school, and he literally drew a line through the center of the little globe, and he found Southeast Asia. And because he found Southeast Asia, Singapore's name popped up, even though it's just a tiny speck. He Googled Singapore PhD. The very first return on Google is SINGA, which stands for Singapore International Graduate Award. I launched this award in 2007. He found this. He's sort of half believing, went into the website, pressed contact, sent out an email. He did not expect any reply. 3-4 hours later, he got a reply, send your resume. He did. He was shortlisted. Last year, he came to Singapore. So we are really attracting a lot of young, very interesting internationals to Singapore. But the same is true for Singaporeans. If you go to Stanford today, on a per capita basis, Singapore has the highest number of PhD represented, and 90% come from A-star. And unfortunately, I thought I'll be meeting Andrew, but he actually dialed in. The CTO of Coursera happened to be a first-year PhD student on A-star scholarship. And he's now on leave of absence from the scholarship in order to be the CTO of Coursera, first-year PhD student. So this is really what investing in talent is about. And just to show the commitment to this scholarship, every Singaporean student that we give a scholarship, all the way from undergraduate to PhD to overseas university, is an investment of 1 million Singapore dollars. 1 million Singapore dollars. We have since 2001 invested in 1,300 of these Singaporeans. You just imagine the commitment. So the talent strategy is very important. 1/3 of these scholars have since returned. The good thing for us is that they have a diverse range of interests. Significant number of them are still in research, both in the agency and also in the universities. But a significant number of them have gone out to the industry. And very importantly, there are others in intellectual property management, in startups, in spin-offs. So the whole landscape is now permeated by the talent that we invested in. So I'm going to skip the part about ecosystem, but just to give us a very quick sense of what it means to create that environment. Go and visit One North, Biopolis, Fusionopolis, footprint 40 hectares. In these 40 hectares, in a span of just over 12 years, by next year, we will have 8 million square feet of space. 55% of that is in research. By next year, when the Prime Minister comes back again, there will be 9,000 scientists and engineers working on research and innovation. The intensity of the research is going to increase a collision. And it's not just research talent, it's innovative talent, it's entrepreneurial talent. That place is going to explode with opportunities and excitement. And this is why support from the government is important, because these are long-range effort, long-term effort. You cannot do this without strong government commitment, steady, sustained support. And in this, I must congratulate the government. So on that note, thank you very much.